Alright, new year, new haircut, new channel name, but for the first video of this year, I thought we'd take a look back the year that's just gone past at 2023, and I would choose my favorite, or at least my top 10 favorite anime of the year 2023. Now, this list is not solely based on quality, but also based on how much I enjoyed the series. So if some of your shows that you've enjoyed are not on this list, just assume that either I didn't enjoy it as much as you, or that I didn't even watch it. So without further ado, let's jump into my top 10 anime for 2023. And at number 9, we have Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill. Now, for a lot of you, this might not even make your top 10 list, but for me, this makes the top 10 list for a very specific reason. But first, let's go over the plot of what happens in this anime. So this anime follows Mukoda, who is a Japanese salaryman who is summoned to another world in order to join the hero's party to defeat the demons and stuff like that. Usual isekai tropes. The problem is, the skill he gets when he's summoned over is online shopper or online supermarket, something along those lines, and compared to the skills that the other heroes have gotten, is deemed not as useful. And so he is kicked from the party and has to journey across this new world on his own. But he soon comes to realize that his skill is actually pretty damn useful because it allows him to buy things from an online supermarket in our world. So he can acquire things that are from our world and bring him over to that world. And this allows him to acquire food that you could never get in that world. From our world, foods, seasonings, and also just utensils and items that you can't get in this world. It's like actually being able to access an online supermarket, hence the name of the skill. Now, on his journeys, he he enters a contract with a Fenrir, which is one of the most powerful beings in the land, and he names him Fel. And the contract is that he would cook food for Fel, and Fel would protect him. So this works out for him because it makes, well, he never really becomes OP, but Fel is an OP, familiar to have. So it takes a lot of the stakes out of the story, and that's why I enjoy the story. Because for me, for this year, this was my go-to anime when I wanted to wind down after a tough day of work. And that's why I feel like if that's what you're looking for, this anime is something for you, and that's why it gains a spot, because there is no real stakes to it. Once he befriends Fel, he is overpowered, and so nothing is truly a danger to him. In fact, he has to grow his own strength by himself, with the guidance of Fel. And just, it's such a chill anime where you can just sit back and enjoy the cooking. The cooking animation is incredible. He cooks using ingredients from our world, like wayyy, as well as ingredients from that world acquired from defeating monsters, which, a bit of dissonance there, but still apparently very delicious. So if you're looking for something that is a bit chill, that is a bit laid back, and you don't want to have to think too hard about the plot of what you're watching, then I would highly recommend Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill. Okay, that title is a mouthful. At number 9, we have Mashal, or Mashal. I don't know. The title is a bit, it's supposed to sound like muscle because it's magic and muscles. And it follows the main character, Mash Burndead, who is a person without magic in a world where having magic is the most important thing. You are basically looked upon as lesser than, or just filth if you do not have magic. Now, the one thing Mash has is his muscles and his physical training, which makes him basically One Punch Man level strong. So if I were to sum up the premise of this anime, it would be One Punch Man meets Hogwarts. So yeah, Mash is inducted into a magical school and has to go through several trials where he wants to become the Divine Visionary, which is a group of people that controls the running of the magical world. And he has to do that while hiding the fact that he doesn't have any magic. What I loved about this anime and why it earns a spot here is it's the comedy anime, on this list. It's the one comedy anime where I had a lot of fun with the premise. Like I said, it's One Punch Man meets Hogwarts, and yeah, that just hijinks ensue. You know, another one where you don't have to think too hard. The animation is great, is well done. The characters, from Mash as the main character to some of the side and supporting characters, are just really fun to work with. And if you're looking for a good time, again, if you're looking to have a bit of a laugh, I would recommend Mashal, which is available to stream also on Netflix, but the latest season that's airing right now is available on Amazon Prime. Next up, at number 8, Shangri-La Frontier. This is another isekai, but goddamn, it's not your usual isekai because it's a full dive VR MMO isekai, kind of like SAO, but it's just refreshing for me, this one, because a lot of the times with these isekai or even these full dive VR anime, there's just too much stakes. Again, it feels like if they don't achieve something in the game, the world ends or something. And what I appreciate about this anime is the stakes are all contained in the game. The stakes are in the game. To beat a boss, you can take a break, take a breather, log out of the game, go about your daily life, go play another game, and then jump back in. And it really is a good representation of gamer culture. And also, I did a shorts on this and I mentioned that the protagonist, while strong, is not completely overpowered. He's a strong protagonist, and he relies more on his abilities as a gamer, his gamer skills. You know, it's if he can't beat an opponent, he sees it as a skill issue, and he needs to, you know, train harder, get better equipment, you know. And it's not OP. He has to use tactics and timing and reading the opponent's moves and understanding the move set in order to beat the bosses in the game. And that's why I feel it's so refreshing, because very few video game based anime or video game isekai based anime or full dive VR anime actually do the same. Like, the animation in this series shouldn't be this good, but it is really incredible, especially the action animation. And as I mentioned in my shorts, it's done by Studio C2C, and they've done nothing of this caliber that I've seen before. So yeah, if you want a good video game based anime, do check out Shangri-La Frontier. It is available to stream on Amazon Prime. Number 7, Hell's Paradise. Now, Hell's Paradise follows the story of Garan no Gabimaru, or Gabimaru the Hollow, and he is a ninja who is set to be executed, but they can't seem to kill him. So he teams up with an executioner named Sagiri in order to go to this island called Shinsenkyo to find the elixir of life, basically the elixir for immortality, to bring back to the shogun of Japan at the time. And a big draw for this anime is just how visceral it is in the beginning. The first few episodes are really visceral. Again, animated by Mappa, so if you have issues with their work culture problems, then maybe you want to take this with a hint of salt. But the animation is phenomenal again. And once they step onto this island, that's when the real intrigue starts, because this island is a mystery. It is an adventure story. It's an action adventure. And once they step onto this island, he is not the only prisoner. Several prisoners with their own executioners have been sent to this island, and how that dynamic plays out together with the mysteries of the island is what is a big draw for this anime. Also, some of the monster designs is just, it's taken from religious design, but just warped a little bit, so it just seems out of place and downright creepy at times. And it's been a while since we've had something that is quite, feels like shonen, that is really entertaining and straight to the point. It doesn't drag its heels along. So if that's what you're looking for this year, I would recommend you check out Hell's Paradise, which is available to stream on Netflix. Damn, it really feels like Netflix just has a bunch of great anime if you can access it. Number 6, a personal favorite of mine. It came back I think in 2022. I can't really remember. I think it did come back in 2022, but 2023 is the year where it's been popping off. And thank God, Bleach is back with the 1,000-year Blood War arc. And it seems like the animation studio behind this, Studio Piero, has just injected steroids into the animation. They want to make this arc look the best it can. And my God, some of the action animation. And based on the action animation alone, this deserves a spot on this list. But also, this was the part of the manga where I kind of just gave up on Bleach. Because I just didn't understand what was going on. I read the manga until Iwaku's fight with Yamamoto Genryusai, and then I kind of just gave up on the manga. But it's great to see that fight animated alone is just worth the price of admission. I mean, there's no ticket, but like, it's worth watching this anime. And if you're a fan of Bleach, it's time to come back. It's time to give Bleach another shot. If you're not a fan of Bleach, if you've never watched Bleach, then I wouldn't recommend this for you, because you have to go through the earlier parts of the story to come and understand what's happening in this one. But for me, it's a personal favorite. It is here for personal reasons. And also, when you hear the number one theme play, your heart just you feel so happy. The nostalgia kicks in. And yeah, so it's on number 6 and not any higher, because the story wise, I think it's not as good as some of those coming up on the list. And also, I wouldn't rank it that high, but damn if it was a good season for Bleach. In at number 5, this one made a big splash earlier in the year with its first episode, and that is Oshinoko, and also with the opening by Yoasobi, which is amazing. Again, I want to describe the plot of Oshinoko, but I feel like if I do, it'll spoil a lot, especially because a lot happens in that first episode. And all I'm going to talk about is why I personally enjoyed it, and what I enjoyed for Oshinoko is the mystery aspect of it. The mystery aspect of it, where we're trying to unravel the truth behind what happens, and also the sort of look that this anime gives into the Japanese entertainment industry, because the Japanese culture and other cultures differ. Your culture, my culture, when it comes to media and entertainment, can be different, but we can relate to certain things that are occurring in this anime. And the reason why it's up only in 5th is, first of all, the next 4 are a class above Oshinoko, in my opinion, but also because this feels like it's just getting started. If there are like 2 to 3 major arcs in this season, if I remember correctly, and they don't really push the plot too far forward. It is taking its time. It is a bit of a slow burn. So I feel like it hasn't gotten good yet, and I'm thinking like the next 2 or 3 seasons, it'll really get good. So that's why I'm putting it at 5th. And if you want to watch it, if you're interested in checking it out, if you've heard the hype behind it, it's also available to stream on Netflix again. Number 4, and a lot of people might give me hate for putting this as like my 4th favorite of the year, but I feel like it's only gonna get up to here, and that is Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. And the reason why it's in 4th and not any higher is, look, the animation this season is sublime, and we know again the problems with MAPPA's work culture forcing their animators to overwork to get something of incredible quality out. But the problem for me with the Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, especially with the Shibuya arc, is because good animation is great. We all love good animation, but let's say good animation is cake. We all love cake, I hope. And when you get cake, you're happy. So when you get incredible Sakuga, you're happy. But when you keep getting fed cake and like it doesn't even really look like good cake, it's cake, it doesn't really look that good, you can kind of get sick of it. And that's how I felt with Jujutsu Kaisen. There was, up to a certain point, it was phenomenal And then it just kept going. It became fight, and then the next fight, and then the next fight. And two of the most hyped fights of this season, involving one of the most hyped characters, just was so chaotic and so hard to follow. I felt sick watching it, and I couldn't recover from that feeling. Even though it gave us a bit of downtime, it just couldn't recover. The quality of the animation is amazing, but a good fight is always easier to follow. If you can follow a fight, that makes it a good fight. And these two fights were horrible to follow. Reminded me of Naruto versus Pain, that episode with the, fluid animation, but so chaotic and so hard to follow. That's what these two big fights in the season this kind of reminded me of, and it kind of put me off the season a little bit. Now, what's holding it up is the Shibuya arc story, and also the first half, the flashback story, I think was phenomenal again. Incredible to set up what happens in Shibuya and sort of the emotional stakes of what happens. And also a lot of emotional beats that are hit during this season. That's what pushes it up to fourth, but it doesn't stand above the top three. And for me, these top three anime are in sort of the bracket of their own. There's no really debate that for me personally that they need to be there, but the order in which they were going to, especially for number 2 and 3, I was going back and forth with that. But before we go into this top 3, I just want to give a few honorable mentions out. First honorable mention is Ranking of Kings Treasure Chest of Courage. I feel Ranking of Kings is an incredibly underrated anime that very few people have watched, or at least more people should watch. And I get that a lot of people may be put out by the character design and animation, but please just give it a chance. Now, Treasure Chest of Courage is not a fully fledged season 2. It is in fact more of a season 1.5, where it fills in some story gaps that are present in the first season while also setting up the second season. So if you're looking for something that's gonna entertain you, please do check out Ranking of Kings and Treasure Chest of Courage. I just feel like more people should see it. Next up, Mushoku Tensei. We follow Rudeus on his quest as he continues on. He has just been dumped and he is suffering from erectile dysfunction. Never like a season of anime focused on curing erectile dysfunction, yet done well and tastefully. Also, great animation. If you liked Mushoku Tensei Season 1, I hope you're going to enjoy Mushoku Tensei Season 2. Next up, the only 3D animated anime on this list as an honorable mention is Trigun Stampede. Trigun Stampede, the first episode especially, it's 3D animated, but it is so fluid, it moves like 2D animation. If you enjoyed Trigun before, I'm pretty sure you might enjoy this. I can't say too much on it because I haven't completed Trigun, but I've enjoyed the first few episodes enough to put it on this list. And my final honorable recommendation makes this list because of the quality that it has, and I've heard from other people, and I haven't watched it yet because I haven't had the time, and that is Pluto. Yes, Naoki Urasawa's Pluto has been brought to life in animation, and it is available to stream on Netflix. If you're a fan of the mangaka, I know you've already checked this out, you've already seen it, but I feel like I would be doing this year a disservice if I don't put Pluto an honorable mention. I feel like Pluto would be on the list if I had watched it, but I'm getting there. I will watch it. At number 3 is a series that was locked in Disney Plus jail for a lot of people, but it blew me away when I watched it, and I still think about it. And that is Heavenly Delusion. Heavenly Delusion, if I were to describe it in simple terms, I would put it as The Last of Us meets The Promised Neverland. Now, the story follows two different points of view, which is, first we have Maru and Kiriko, who are traveling across a post-apocalyptic Japan filled with man-eating beasts, and they're in search of heaven. Now, if you played post-apocalyptic games or watched post-apocalyptic series like The Last of Us or The Walking Dead, you know that the biggest problems outside are not just the creatures, but also the people. And there are just moments and story beats which truly hit hard emotionally. For example, there was one arc around a doctor and one of his patients that they couldn't save. And even from the first episode, there's just a story arc of family, and they hit hard emotionally. And on the other spectrum, you have a sort of promised Neverland situation going on with kids being raised in this facility, and the relation between the two distinct storylines hasn't been shown yet, but it has brought a lot of intrigue. But for me, the main focus will be this post-apocalyptic world and what's happening here and what's happening with the characters. They really draw you in to watch the show. Also, it helps that the animation is superb, and the opening is my favorite opening of the year. It's available to stream on Disney Plus if you want to check it out. And if you do have Disney Plus, please do check it out. I don't want this anime ending up like Summertime Rendering, which is another incredible anime that did not get promotion from Disney. So please do check out Heavenly Delusion. At number 2, and this one I was debating whether to put it in 2 or 3 because it is not really finished yet. But I feel like the problem with Heavenly Delusion was that it kind of ended halfway, and the season didn't feel well concluded for me. But for this one, it's still ongoing, and it's just vibes the anime this season for me, and that is Freerun. Now, Freerun, I made a shorts on it. I'll do a full-length review on it once the season concludes. But so far, it has been a simply beautiful journey, traveling across this fantastical world with Freerun and company. And the animation by Madhouse, this is Madhouse at its best. Madhouse pulling out the stops to give us beautiful animation. The music by Evan Call, as I mentioned before, is one of my favorite soundtracks of the year. The opening by Yoasobi is, again, Yoasobi has had a great year. Her opening for the first core was also really great. And I don't want to talk too much about the story and everything until the season is sort of done. But following the quest of this immortal elf in Freerun, she tries to understand humanity more, and also gives herself this sense of nostalgia. We won't live 1,000 years, but we can still experience similar senses of nostalgia. And I think that's what I truly enjoy, the ability to look back on experiences that you've had and just smile. Finally, at number 1, there was no debate that this was going to be number 1. This was always going to be number 1 from the moment I thought that, I want to do a top 10 list. What's number 10? I don't know. But what's number 1? I was dead certain. And if you have followed the channel, if you've watched any videos before, you would know which one this is. It's Vinland Saga Season 2. Yeah, I don't need to say more. You should probably check out my review. But Vinland Saga Season 2 is an achievement in anime for this year. The story is a slow-paced story at first, but that's all to build up towards the climax that happens towards the latter half of this second season. The animation is superb. The fight animation, the fight choreography is superb. And these characters, the characters and the stories, fantastic. There's one episode that I talked about in my review is episode of the year. No anime this year has had an episode for me that good. Not even Oshinoko's first episode. And yeah, Vinland Saga rightfully earned its spot on number 1 on my list because it is just amazing. It's available to stream on Netflix as well. If you enjoy Viking stories, if you enjoy character, if you just enjoy a good story, please do watch Vinland Saga Season 2. Hi, Editor Vishnu here. You know what? I think I've forgotten an anime here. Yep, I've definitely forgotten one. And I don't know where to place it on this list because I like this list as well. But that would be Zom 100. And I forgot about it because its last 3 episodes got delayed. So it belongs on this list. So that's another one you can add to the list. Maybe somewhere around 8 to 10 would be where it would go if I had remembered it. Anyway, back to the end of the video. So that's it. That's my top 10 anime list for 2023. Please let me know in the comments what your favorite anime of the year is, or what your top 10 list is, or what thoughts you have on my list, or what would you change. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next video. Also, I'm still adding these end cards so you can see some of my older anime reviews over here.